we all think we're the best at what we do, and then you go out there and then you get slapped around a little bit.
Who you're taking advice from?
I really want the Hispanic community to come up, and I love them, pero somos muy colos.
Why am I gonna need it? I don't go to the doctors.
I think it's because they've been done dirty in the past by someone before. Rosa de Guadalupe, you know.
The wind.
Every person has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you just have one.
I think it all led up to here. Let's have some café con pan. Let's talk.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Totem Podcast. Remember that an act of rebellion is to question. Today we got a very special guest, but of course, always, we got here Eric.
How's it going, dude? First year in January. How are you doing on your resolutions? Are you sticking with them, or did you already skip out on them?
No, hell no, I'm sticking with them. Like, dude, let's go. Like,
we talked
new
about
year,
it last
new
week.
Me, right? New year, new me.
Talked about it last week. Sticking to the diet, reading the books.
How many books have you read now that you said are sticking to the books?
Well, I'm better than my first one.
Which one?
The Purple Cow.
The Purple Cow.
Sounds good.
It's a good one.
Pretty damn good so far.
But with that, we'll give you guys a little brief introduction to our special guest today. Pumped to have her on. Pumped for the moves she's doing, the waves she's going to be making here soon. So you guys need to be up to date on all the stuff she's doing. Another great thing, it's family. So it's always good to have family here and seeing the family doing business moves and doing stuff like that. So, Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here and tell you guys about what I'm going to be doing, and you guys watch out because I'm coming.
It's coming. I like it.
I like the attitude. I like it.
First, I kind of want to start off, like, how do you, because you're newer into the space, how do you, like, kind of light the fire under you, the spark? Because you got a family, you got 2 kids. How does that?
I think that was the spark, because when I started this, started with Joshua, I was his office assistant. Hey, I saw Medicare office assistant. That's what I was doing before opening. I was like, why not? I'm going to go ahead and apply and see what it's about, So I go on there, apply, and I'm like, they're not going to call me. I was applying for other jobs and everything, and I get a call, and I'm like, oh, crap, She's like, hey, yeah, we want you. I'm like, all right, good. Was seeing different things, and then a couple months later, they were telling me about what could be done in the future, and I was just found out was pregnant. So I was like, oh gosh, not really. I have another baby to think about.
How long was this ago? Just give us a time frame.
I started probably a month later is when I found out I was pregnant. So they probably were not expecting that either. Hey, we just hired you, and we were expecting you to be here for quite some time. But then they gave me the options, and they're like, right now is the go time if you want to. So they gave me the runaround, this is what it'll look like if you want to start now. Because AAP season was coming, and I was like, all right, let's do it then. So they're like, make sure you get your licenses and all that, and then we can go. But then if it wasn't, the job was still there for me, which I thought was really great because I could still bounce back, and they were there for me if it didn't work out for some reason. But I'm like, no, it's going to work out because I got another kid to take care of now. So I think that was the spark, my growing family. And I think this is the last one.
Think?
No, I'm pretty sure this is the last one.
Is it Bryant?
I think I'm done.
Is it Bryant?
I think I'm done. And so I want to be set with kids and then think about, 5 years from now, what I could be doing. My kids will be at a good age, and I want to give them a good looking life.
So for the people that don't know, you're an insurance broker. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to get into it, getting your licenses and stuff, and insurance in general? I think it's pretty complicated for a lot of people. So is it does it take a while to learn it all, or how do you go about that? Is it constantly changing, or? I
think it's you have to have the mindset of studying. I know a lot of people don't like to study, but it was really all about studying. It was the concepts were pretty good if you went over it all, but studying was my main thing. I spent, I'd go home from work, study till 10 at night, even sometimes past that, every day, passing the pre-test, trying to do those every day too, if I could.
How was it studying though? Was it, you say, you're staying up, are you feeling overwhelmed trying to study, or you feel motivated as you're doing it?
Both, because at the same time it was a lot. It was the overload. It was a lot of new information I didn't know about, but a lot of information I did know because I would already have insurance business, I already had information, because I worked at insurance, helping people out with that. billing and stuff like that. And I already had sort of like a background. Some of the stuff was like, oh, now I see why this stuff is done. So then I was like, all right, let's do it. I was so nervous to do the testing because I did both of them. It's a life and health you have to take. So it's 2 of them if you want to sell Medicare. And it's actually 3 with the AHIP, which is the hardest one. So you can do the 2, which I did at MCC. And I did them the same day, and I was almost crapping my pants. And then I was like, telling Brian, like, I'm so nervous, And
do they tell you right away if you passed or not?
Yeah. So I did the first one, and she's like, do you want to know your result? And I was like, no, let's wait for the second one. And I was already like, it's like...
What if you're just like, let me do the second one, you do it. You're
and
like,
I don't pass
you didn't pass the first one.
You didn't pass any of them.
So I was like, let me just take the second one, and we'll know if it's for sure, And then I come out, she's like, you passed. And then I look, and I barely passed. Barely. But I passed. I freaking went in the car, bawled my eyes out, like I was like, damn, I did it, all that studying and all those nights.
The thing on the certification doesn't say you barely passed.
Yeah.
It says you got a
Like, I got it.
You got it, because I'm in the same situation when I got my drone license.
Yeah.
I barely passed, but guess what? I passed.
I
Dude,
think it
that
was
side note, that
surreal,
drone license, dude, the questions they tell you to study is nothing like the test.
It's a little
Exactly.
too much for the
Dude,
drone.
I was like, what's going on here? This wasn't what I signed up for.
Yeah,
It's basically like a pilot license.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Side note, I'm just curious because he's very out there with stuff, and a lot of people just think he's just talking shit. How is it working behind Joshua? Actually seeing everything behind the scenes.
Working for Joshua was probably, it was like an eye opener for me because I was like, I already heard what you had told me about him, You're like, oh, Josh was this, Josh was that. No, like, Joshua. Good things, Joshua. Don't worry. You already know. But no, I was like, oh, crap, this guy is like upbeat, paced, and he was, I only saw him sometimes in the office because he'd be like, come and go and things like that. But he gave me the tools I needed. He was there if I had any questions, or, he'd make sure I knew who to go to if I had needed help. But most of the time, like, he showed me and I got it. Like, he already knew that I would take care of things for him, which I think we both, like, worked good at that aspect, working together. And that really helped me too, business-wise, like, coming forward. Like, I'll use his skills and all that, watching him back behind the scenes and using that when I go out in the field too.
Do you think that's kind of necessary for when someone's starting off to have like a good mentor, role model to kind of like see? Because like I'm just thinking of it because we all think we're the best at what we do, and then you go out there and then you get slapped around a little bit, so you don't really know what it is. But then when you have someone that's like, okay, like I've done it, this is kind of what's going to happen. This is what you can kind of expect, and this is how we're going to prepare you.
Absolutely, because I think it's different when you see people on TV and all that stuff. You see them, you're like, oh, I can do that, Or that'd be cool to do. You watch all these videos online, you think you're going to get it, but until you get hands-on, somebody face-to-face, it's different. You get that experience like, oh, this guy's really going to help me, and you get to see it firsthand instead of watching it through a screen, and I think that's a little bit harder when it goes that route.
I think it's important to like also know like who you're taking advice from. Like, it's better to take obviously advice from someone who's like done it and is currently doing it, and you've done something with it, than someone who's just like on social media, just like, oh yeah, look at this, look at that, because you don't know if they're actually doing it. They might be doing it, but you don't know, and that's the problem, I think.
Yeah, and then because you see his background too, like he's blown up. You see what he's done and things like that. So you're like, yeah, absolutely, and he's one of the top ones, So we're like, why not? So I feel like I'm very lucky to be able to have him for support and things like that.
So what you're doing is more, so your son is Medicare. So it's like, how is that? How do you have those conversations? Because the market for that is like older people. Like, how is those conversations, how it is? Because everyone, too, I think they're like, oh, everything's technology, I can do it. But a lot of older people don't really do it like that. What have been challenges that you're facing with stuff? I think
the challenges are that like we can't go to door, or we can't like, hey, like, are you turning 65 this year? We can't like go on to an old person and be like, hey, you need Medicare? It's a lot harder.
So they have to like come up to you and approach you?
Yeah, you have to, or leads, like the leads. But that could be something that you can't always rely on, because most of the time those will be like, yeah, we'll do it. And then you catch up with them a little bit longer. They're like, oh, I'll just wait, or I changed my mind, or they're not educated enough that they don't want to do Medicare at all.
So I guess what is the number one way if you can't, you can't approach them? So it's like, how do you get people, I guess?
That's the thing that we're doing right now.
That's the fun part.
Trying to get exposure out there, word of mouth, referrals, things like that. So people know about you and things like that. Not just, because how are they going to know about me? I'm just like, they probably don't know me right now. Like, who's Melissa?
Who is she? What is she doing here?
Like, they probably hear me on, oh, yeah, that girl, Like,
but the one thing is, though, like, if you're going to, like, start, like, putting yourself out there more, there's obviously going to be people hating on you. There's going to be those haters. There's going to be people talking shit. Because, I mean, we've experienced it, especially, like, trying to, like, start your own thing, kind of start wanting to better your own life. Sometimes it's the bucket of crabs that are going to pull you down. And it might suck. Some people are going to support you. There's going to be a lot more people that are just kind of like, what the fuck? Who the fuck does she think she is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll tell you straight up, it's like, you think about it, you're 24, you say you can do some video stuff and some camera stuff. Why the fuck should someone believe you? If you think about it, like,
yeah.
Why should they believe? I'm asking you, why should they believe you?
No, it's just like the experience that comes with it, like the conversations you have with people. Because a lot of people can go and they talk up a game, but then they don't actually come through. And that's the thing that I do. That's like, I say what I'm going to do. And like the biggest thing is like showing up and putting it out there and giving people results. Because there's a lot, especially like in the video world, there's like, oh yeah, and as long as you have a camera, you're good. You can go out and start charging people. But if you don't really know the strategies, you don't really know what's working for people, you don't really know the market, then it's kind of, you're doing a disservice to your client. And that just does not sit right with me. And some people are fine just taking money from other people. And that's the one thing that I hate. It's like, if you're just starting out, cool, be honest with it. But don't go like steal people's money and rob them of their money pretty much, because that shit pisses me off.
Yeah, so it's like pretty much like you're saying, there's a lot of people out there that don't have a great product. They're pretty much taking advantage of people out there. There's a lot of them that we know personally.
Yep.
But
they probably don't know who they are.
Oh, they do. They know. But so how do you deal with that? Like, there's a lot of people out there, especially like older folks. There's probably a lot of people that just take advantage of us, sign them up, and then they just like, cool, I got your money, and then they don't talk to them when they need stuff, or they don't actually give them the customer service. What sets you apart in that space?
I think what's going to set me apart, because I'm just starting off, everybody knows that, is my vision is helping someone from the beginning to the start. Like, I'm going to walk in and help you with the very first step, which is like some people, they let agents do that. They'll be like, well, just call this number and sign up, which is for their part A and B. I'm going to help you sign up for that through Social Security first. I'm going to get to know you. I want to get to know your family, and things like that. I'll come to your home and we'll chat. We'll make it about us first, get to know them, and then we'll talk about the information, questions you have, and things. So I'll be there the beginning through the end, and even through the middle part is when I'm going to be there too. Any answers, any questions come up, billing issues, things like that, I'll take care of them for you. Because if you call the carriers, they'll give you the runaround, and we don't want that. So I'll be the point where you can come to me and I'll take care of things.
I think that's important what you said, like having the conversations first with them, getting to know them, and probably what they actually want and what they actually need.
So that's just a cookie cutter thing. Like, this is what you need. This is what everybody gets. Like, well, based on your information, like, this is the best option.
Because I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm here. I'm gonna give you information about Medicare. What questions do you have for me? Like, I want it to be a cool experience. Like, I'm coming over to talk to my tias or tios, things like that. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Most of them don't know any information. So me coming over and like, let's have some café con pan if you want,
While we fucking chat. And that's like important though, like having that, like building those relationships with people. You're not there to sell them.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're going to like sell them something, but you're not going with the intention of just selling them. You're getting there. You're going to help them out.
Help. And that's the big thing. Is help.
And that's one thing you do too. Is like a lot of like the businesses we help. You don't just go in there like, there's the price you want or not. No, you're like, first of all, what do you need? Because like a lot of people might not need.
How much do you charge?
Exactly.
I mean, I get a lot of those messages. How much do you charge for a video? Like, I don't even know what business you have, brother. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I think that middle part is lost in anything. Because you're pretty much what you're doing, you're selling, but it's a certain kind of like, I guess you would say like product service, it's more like a service that they're having. Us is like a service also. But I think that middle thing is lost. Yeah. They just sign them up, get the money, and then once it's time to renew again, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
like,
they check in.
Where you been for 11 months, or whatever. And I heard a great thing from Alex Ramosi. He says, have as much touching points with your client. That way you can kind of reassure them. If they have, maybe they don't have any questions, but then they just see your like message or whatever, like, hey, how's everything going? How's this? And then it kind of gives them reassurance to be like, he's actually looking at my stuff. He didn't just sign me up and just doing this. He's actually being like a little bit up to date with that. In kind of like your experience, because you worked a little bit like behind the scenes with Joshua, what's one of the biggest like misunderstandings that like older people have? Like,
probably they don't know that sometimes they can rely on like Joshua has his office team, that they also have that, they're there for them. Like sometimes they'll try to call the carriers directly, and so I think sometimes they forget who's there for them at the end of the day. Like they forget, they just call the carriers, they'll be like, oh, I'll take care of it myself. They'll try to do it themselves, and sometimes it's not the best thing to do. Because we'll remind them, like, we're here for you. That's what we're here for. Because sometimes us doing it goes a little bit smoother than having them do it by themselves.
Do you guys have like kind of like, I guess, a system that you would break it down for people? Because like with all the stuff you were saying earlier, like the A and then the B and then this, I don't understand it.
It's complicated.
And I think I feel like I'm like kind of somewhat intellectual, but I don't understand a lot. So how do you do?
Sure.
Come back in how many years? I'm just kidding.
But it's like, how do you explain that? Like, because you almost have to like break it down.
Yeah, it's basically like
parts. Do you have like a system kind of how you guys do stuff, or you break it down?
Yeah, because pretty much we have like a handbook. We'll have handbooks or information that they can read and things like that. But most of the stuff is sometimes they read online, and I'm like, sometimes you need somebody to talk to you in person. Mm-hmm. So there is the first, when everybody turns 65, there's part A and B, which part A usually everybody gets a premium if they've worked the amount of hours and things like that. Some of them don't have to pay that. Then there's the part B, and that goes off to work history and things like that. And most of the time they'll have to pay for that too. But sometimes people use their Social Security benefits for that to help them with that. And then you go on to the other parts. There's your Part C, your Part D. And a lot of people don't know if you don't have your Part D, then you'll get a penalty and things like that. Like there's a lot of little things people don't know about. So like if they do it themselves, they'll just be like, oh, you have to sign up for Part A and B. They don't tell them, like, if you don't sign up for the Part D, which is prescription drug coverage, they'll get a penalty. And I'll meet with people.
They don't sign up for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They have a certain amount of time to sign up for coverage. If they don't, they'll get a penalty. And some people I've talked to, they'll be like, oh, I didn't get told that,
Or even that's the problem. They might have like the information. They might be able to go to the website and like look it up.
Yeah.
But then like the language they use, how it's written, it's just like so confusing.
Because they might miss, like, online you can miss anything. Like it might be harder, sometimes you scroll through and you're like, oh yeah. I have to do this and this and that, and then you miss a little point. Yeah, I met with someone, they're like, oh, like I wasn't told that. Yeah. And so I'm like, that's what I'm here for now,
And I think it's a lot of like misunderstandings that they have, because like you said, they can use like, they have Social Security money, like better take advantage of it because that's going to disappear, so. But yeah, so like they can use stuff like that, and they can get money from like other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think, I guess depending what metric we have for it, but like price wise, like I don't think it's as much for like the coverage. I guess you could get.
And a lot of like people that work don't know, like a lot of their employer coverage, some of their stuff is way expensive, and then you compare it and you're like, oh, it's a better option. You compare it to employer coverage to this, and that's why you try to educate them and make sure they know if they're still wanting to work for some couple more years instead of retiring.
Yeah. What's I guess when we're in business, we always have to go like, yeah, we kind of work with everyone, but it's like you got to niche down like who you want to work with. Like for us, like I love them. I really want the Hispanic community to come up. I want them to do marketing because that's the biggest thing. Like with our parents that had business, like businesses lack marketing. They don't even know where to go. They think it's just like commercial on TV. Like it's way much more than that. Like that's not even. That's nothing of it. And I love them, but somos muy codos. We want to keep all the money for ourselves. They don't like to. They don't
see the bigger picture.
They don't see the bigger picture. They just say like, yeah, dude, but this week is good. Like cool. But for business, we gotta like, okay, let's think like next month. Okay, let's put systems, and they don't have anything. What is the market that you're trying to target?
Well, my heart is open for everybody, but what I want to target is more of the Hispanic community. The people, Spanish speakers, like los que no sabemos, los no sabemos.
Los no sabemos.
The cuz. Cuz parents.
Yeah, most of the time as Hispanics, a lot of people take advantage of Hispanics because of the language barrier. So that's why I want to be there. Like, no, I'm going to be here for you. I speak Spanish. I'm going to help you out. Like, I'm not going to let you no.
Especially with something so confusing like insurance. Like, probably like, first of all, they might not even have like Medicare or whatever. Or if they do, it's probably not the right coverage because they just got some random person or they just signed up on the website or on the phone.
Or somebody called them on the phone like, hey, it's your time. And they're like, okay. Like, they're like, some things still like unanswered. Some things they don't know about. More benefits they could possibly have. Things like that. Like, I want to be there for that.
Yeah, I think the translation of a lot of stuff, like, I don't even understand it. I don't even know what it is. I'm just thinking of like our family, like, in general, like I don't think a lot of people know. Like, there's stuff. I think I know English and Spanish, but there's stuff that I don't know how to translate either or. Like,
I get you.
Yeah, so I have to.
Sometimes I'm like, let me see.
Let me Google it.
I do speak Spanish, but let me see real quick. Well, we translate in our language. We're Spanglish sort of sometimes. Like, oh yeah, sometimes you're just like, oh. Like this word, you're like, oh, sí, en Medicare, ¿verdad? Oh, esa cosa, sí, lo tenemos que abrir la aplicación y todo eso. And they're like, sometimes like, huh?
Yeah.
But especially like the technology aspect of it too. Because like my mom, she knows a little bit more technology. My dad's kind of coming along. But like a couple years ago, they did not know anything. And I can only imagine for like
that too.
People's grandmas and grandpas, like they... even though technology's been around, they just never like really adapted it. So like that aspect like can be pretty hard for them too.
Yeah, because they'd be like, you had to sign up online. You can make an account. They're like, huh? Like I don't even know how to use my cell phone.
Open Google. Where's that at?
A lot of them do. A lot of them do, and a lot of them don't. Like if it's for the right interest, like dude, they'll find a way.
If it's for Facebook, they'll find a way.
Dude, a lot of people have a Facebook. They're like, I don't know, dude. I don't know how to do research on like whatever XYZ, or I don't know how to see that contract in my emails. Like they're like, well, I've had a couple conversations. They'll be like, dude, I don't know. I don't even know if I have an email. It's like, well, do you have Facebook? Like, yeah. Well, you had to fucking have an email to open your Facebook.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, come on, like you had to verify your email to open. So it's like you have.
¿Para qué nos conviene? ¿Para qué les conviene?
Yeah, nomás nos gusta mirar lo que nos conviene y lo que no. We're just like, hey, no. What's one of the biggest challenges you see in the Hispanic market though? Like besides the language barrier?
Probably low-income families. But there is a lot of help though for them that they don't know about too. But I feel like sometimes when they hear the word insurance, they're like, oh, no, I don't have money for that. Like I barely have money for like the tortillas and stuff, But there is a lot of things that they could qualify for that they don't know about. So I think that's the biggest challenge is them thinking that there's not enough help for them because of income.
And do you have that? I mean, we're going to find out more as you start going down it. But a lot of people, they don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be like, I have a low income. Like, they're not going to tell you, like, I ain't making money. So it's kind of harder for them, even for us. Like, that vulnerability is kind of hard. So how do you navigate around those things? Or kind of,
because it's probably hard for people to just first of all, like,
because you need to know how
accept that
much
they need
make.
help, and then go out and actually look for someone who's gonna help them out.
I think, like I first said, trying to build that relationship with them is going to help me a lot. Because, like, I mean, like, who's going to want to talk to somebody about straight up insurance right away? Like, I want to make sure, like, they know, okay, I'm their, prima, they can call me or whatever. Their little, like they say, little nieta or whatever. They can call me whatever they want, to get a relationship started. I think it's going to be the first, like, thing, and then getting through that challenge. Because I know a lot of folks are like, no, I don't want to talk about, the information. That's too personal. Or a lot of people are like, well, I don't need it. I don't even go to the doctor. Things like that. I get that a lot. I'm like, why am I going to need it? I don't go to the doctors. Why do I need to go to the doctors? A lot of people don't believe in that, especially the Hispanics. You already know. You already know. I'm not going to say names, but some people don't like to go to the doctor when they need it, just because.
I think that's just like a misconception.
I think it's
the doctors.
Or it's like a Hispanic thing. I don't know. Maybe it's.
But I think that
because a lot of my abuelitos and tias are like, I'm not going to go to the doctor. Like, they're dying. And
I kind of have a theory on it. I think it's because they've been done dirty in the past by someone before. Because I've dealt with that, like with people like marketing, like they're scared to do marketing because they've been done dirty before, or like they're like, why am I going to go to the doctor? He told me I have to stop eating so much fried foods and cut back on my carbs.
I love that shit.
And I think that's where we go back to the language barrier, like because a lot of doctors in now are English, they sometimes don't have a person to translate for them, so they feel like that's why too they might have felt like they took advantage of them because of the language barrier. Too.
So they kind of have they're like on defense mode right away. They're not even letting the shield come down. So when you go, just show up with a little bag of pan. That would at least open it to have that first guancha or whatever.
I think you give me an idea, a little mug, Mexican mug, and then like, here's the concha.
It's cold.
Let's have some.
It's cold. Let me in.
Let's have some café con pan. Let's talk.
Because then also like some people might honestly have been like healthy their whole lives. So they're like, why am I going to spend money on this? I've never needed it. I'm never going to need it. Okay. But that's like the whole point of insurance. Like, you're not planning for what it is. You're planning for what it could be.
What if?
Healthy compared to who? Like, that's where it goes too.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's always big boned when it comes down to the thing.
I used to be big boned.
He had a problem with his dryer. That was the
fucking dryer, dude.
I'm curious to know. So you're newer in this space. You've been kind of like wanting on this journey to get better and stuff. What in the past do you think has kept you from moving forward? Like, was it doubt or insecurities? Like, what was it?
Because we also have that. We talk about it all the time too. Like, that flip the switch moment, kind of that gets you going. Because you could like, for some people it's like traumatic events happen in their life. For some people it's just like something happened close to their family. But it's always that some one thing that like flips the switch for someone. And they're like, oh shit, let me get on my shit. Like I'm slacking. And for some people, sadly, but that moment never comes from.
Yeah. Well, I think this began probably like, how long has it been now? Probably 8 years ago. I lost my dad, but then I moved away. I moved away at 18 years old to move and start a new life in a whole new state, which was Alaska. I was a military spouse, and I think for all those years, I was so used to just being the military spouse that I did work on some things up there for me, but I still felt like something was missing. I still felt like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I always liked helping people. I was a caregiver, things like that. Like, that was the main thing. Like, I want to help people. I didn't know if it was like nursing or like what way it would have been. But then we moved back and I was like, all right, like, it's my time. Like, I'm 27 years old. Like, I need to figure out, they say you're never too old or whatever. But I was at that point where I was like, no, like, it's time for me to do what I need to do. Like, my husband did his active duty and his time, he's done. I think now it's my turn to like kind of give back to both of us, because he's worked hard too, to get us to where we are at. So I felt like that was the kind of the point too, where I was like, it's my time now to do what I gotta do. So here I am trying to get this going. Let's go.
But what was that like moment that you flipped? Were you just over there, just like, dude, I'm meant for more? Like, did you have like a specific moment where you're just like, you had the Rosa de Guadalupe, you know, the song come up? And
The wind.
No, but like in all seriousness, was there something where you're just like, dude, like, I need something better, or what? Did you have something like that or no?
I think it took years to build up to that moment, though. I don't think it was like one exact moment. Like, I think it was moments that led up to, like, finally saying, this is it. Like, my dad passing, I was like, all right. At that point, I already knew, like, I needed to think about my future better. Like, I already knew that I had to go on and do something better for him, too. But then after those years, I just kept passing. I think just having jobs that I wasn't happy with, or just felt like something was missing, like I said. And then moving back here in our hometown, well, things were different. Everything's different. Like, even family, you know, everybody got their own thing going. Seeing other people do their thing, I think, and all that. And like I said, me being pregnant again, I didn't think I was going to be. It just happened.
Surprise.
But I think when I found out I was pregnant, I was really thinking about what I needed to do to better. I think I was like, all right, like, what do I need to do, or what do I want to do that I'm going to feel comfortable doing? Like, I need to think about it now. Because in 5 years, like, maybe I'll be different. Who knows? Like, maybe I'll have a different mindset. Like, maybe I want to go further in this business, you know?
And that's okay. I think people sometimes are married to their thoughts. Like, I said I was going to do this. I better just keep doing it because I said I was going to, like, well, you can evolve, you can change. You can be like, you know what? I don't want to do that no more. Maybe I can do this.
And one thing you said that was pretty good too is that you moved away, and that's one thing that we talk about too. Like, for people to kind of get away from where they grew up, at least for a short period of time. It doesn't have to be super long, whatever. But then it kind of gives you that clarity. You're not around all your friends. You're not around like all your family. Like, it might suck for a little bit for other people to do, but then like kind of just get out there so you can like find yourself. Sounds kind of stupid, but like so you can find yourself, know what you actually want to do, and just have that like mental clarity.
Yeah.
And then if you want to come back later, you can come back. That's fine. Or you could move on to other things or whatever. But that's one thing that like I tell people, like, it's very important to just get out, go experience life on your own a little bit, and then see where that takes you.
Yeah, and if you come back, you come back.
There's nothing wrong with coming back, but it's very important to get out. Get out so you can at least experience different ways of life, how other people live life, what other people are doing in other spaces, and like maybe you're living in a shitty area, and then you get out, and then you're like, oh shit, this is way better, and it's just gonna change your outlook on life.
Yeah, because I think all those years, all the moving out, everything, I think it all led up to here. Because I don't think me being here now, without going through all that, or following, leaning the ladder, I don't think we would have been here. I wouldn't know. I don't know what I would have been doing. But I think all those steps, to be here back again, I think it led to here.
Yeah, no, that's great though. But I think realizing you need something better, you need to change is huge. One of my favorite quotes from Naval Ravikant. It's every person has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you just have one. And it's like, fuck. I heard that one. It's like, fuck.
No, my lifelong quote has been, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just a single step. That's been my... Just
get started.
Even if it's, who says that you can start that step as many times as you need to. Like, who says it's just one and go?
How long ago did you hear that?
Oh, since high school.
Well, with that one step is just taking that step.
Yeah.
But some of those steps might be backwards. Some of those steps might be forward.
But that quote has always been my...
And people are afraid to go backwards in life, or to look to other people that they're going backwards in life, because they want to put on the front that they're doing better, they're doing good. But they don't want to take that step back to be able to move forward. Because they're taking that step back to go down like this slide that's going to make them go faster, but they don't want to do it. They want to just keep going and keep going up this steep-ass hill.
What motivates you to get better and improve yourself every day?
I think right now it's just me. Like, before, I'd be like, I'm doing it for these people, which I am, I'm always going to do it for my dad. He's up in heaven, I'm always going to do it for my family, my husband, my kids, not. But right now, it's about me. Like, I'm going to do it for me. Like, I'm at that point where I'm like, I've been through, everybody goes through their worst, their ups and downs. And I'm like, it's my time. Like, I'm doing this for me. So at the end of the day, I'm like, if I need to go out there and put a smile on and do all this and that, it's because of me, Like, I'm not going to do it for nobody else. It's because of me.
That's awesome. What motivates you, Erick?
There's a lot of things.
The main one.
The main one. One of the things that motivates me is just to not be that person that I was a year ago. I always want to keep improving myself, whether it's like in the business, like getting better at my skills or whatever, or just straight up just as a person, just being a better person, and just not falling back into those old habits that I had before. Because those old habits, they'll fuck you up, and they're called habits for a reason, because you've done it for so long, and it's easier to fall back into. And you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable to be able to actually grow as a person. And that's one thing that I'm still not comfortable sometimes, but just going for it. Like how you said, is like focusing on yourself, doing it for yourself, and then obviously you want to help out all these people, but it's like you got to do it for yourself to be able to help out all these people.
Yep.
You can't be doing it for them. It's for yourself to help out everybody else.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
What about you?
Me, I mean, like you said, there's a list of them. There's a list of them. We can sit here. We just got deep, huh? One of my favorite quotes, and I think it hits dead on for me too. I mean, I have a lot of favorite quotes if you guys haven't noticed. It's Conor McGregor. This is when he was like peak. He's like, you giving up on your dreams, you giving up on your life, on your potential, what you could be, you're doing a disservice to the people that believe in you, to your kids, to your wife, to your family, to your whoever believes in you. You're doing a disservice to them. Like, say like me, I'm 29. Like, you've been saying you wanted to be better for 29 years, and you haven't done it yet. Let's just say for anybody, whatever age someone out there listen to, and you haven't done it yet. So like, sometimes you believe in you is probably not going to work because you've been with you for the last 29 years. So it's like sometimes you have to find something bigger, whether it's your kids or whatever. Just think about it. If you guys have kids, just think about it. You waking up fucking late every morning or whatever, and your kid's just sitting there watching you lay there sleeping, like not aspiring to be more, and you're just sitting there not doing nothing. And then just say you die, and that's the last image they have of you, of a fucking worthless person. So it's like, I think that's what motivates you, just to not be that person, I think. But then be comfortable with it, that it's a process. That's the thing.
So you want your kids knowing, like, hey, my dad was badass.
Fuck yeah.
It's a pinche Monico.
Yeah, well, I think that's a huge, because like I said,
Yeah,
like,
that's.
I've always been with myself. Like, cool. It was like, so I go to lunch with my daughter, and like I'm like a superhero with the kids. Like, everybody wants to play with me and run around. It's like, dude, if I'm like 300-400 pounds, like I'm not gonna be able to run around with all the kids. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I want them to be like, oh yeah, that's my dad, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing with it. But then I mean I don't know. Each person has different ways, and I think motivation comes and goes. So I think that's where you kind of start building. You get motivation to start, but then you need discipline to keep going. But then the motivation will kind of, you start building discipline as you go through it. And I think your motivations for each thing can change. Like, you can have this that motivated you for this month, but then you need to find something else to always keep aspiring, I think.
I think what you said about like what you want like your kids to have, like a vision of you, I think that's important, because I've seen it, like I don't have kids personally, but I've seen it with like but I've seen it with like cousins and stuff, and like nieces, nephews that like other people have, and you see like the relationship that people have with their kids, and it's not good. You start noticing that kids are paying attention to everything. They soak up everything that their parents do, everything, good or bad. Yeah. And I've had experiences where a lot of times it's bad, and then you just like feel for the kid. You're like, oh fuck, like
sucks.
Damn.
Like, oh, that's why they're acting the way they are.
Yeah, you start seeing why they that's the way they are. But I think that's the biggest thing, is kind of being able to block too external stuff. Like I mean, my family, they know it, but it's like, I only need, like, yes, you do bad decisions or whatever it is. I only need 3 people in my corner, and it's my kids and my wife. Like, it's us against the world. Like, you know, you don't need anybody really else in your corner. And I think a lot of people else, like, yeah, you need that, but then you start complying or, you know, doing stuff for other people that's like, cool. Like, you're not. So this is changes subjects real quick, but it's like, people say like they're cheating on their spouse or whatever. It's like, I think you not being loyal, doing a disservice to them, I think that's a way of cheating. You can fucking say whatever you guys want with it, but it's like, I think that's a way of cheating. You're more loyal to other people that you don't even live with or nothing. Like, they say like, hey, we should do this. You're like, yeah, let's go do it. And then it's like your wife or your spouse been telling you should do it forever, and you're just putting it off. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a way of cheating to me. But I mean, everybody has their metrics, their standards. Some people have higher standards than others, and it's okay.
Some people have lower standards.
Yeah, and that's okay too. If they're happy with it, that's okay.
But it's not okay, because other kids see them too and see the way they act, and it just leads to more fucked up kids.
Yeah, the cycle. Then their kids are gonna be like that, and their kids.
We're trying to better.
We gotta stop it.
Everybody,
we're
trying to better the generation. Try to better.
Stop it right there.
Let's circle back now to the insurance. We got sidetracked a little bit. If you guys haven't noticed, that happens a lot here. What's one of the biggest goals you have this year for 2024?
This year,
like business-wise.
Business-wise is helping more than one person. Last year I helped one person, and which was a goal of mine too. At least one person. Hey, that's fine with me. Helping at least another person is my goal. Like, I'm not gonna put a number greater than that, because, I mean, it could happen.
Why not? If you did that in like a couple months, you have a whole year.
Because that's the thing I'm gonna keep. Oh, I'm gonna help one person. That's gonna be my thing. Oh, and then another person is gonna come. Like that, you know? If I keep saying I'm going to help 20 people, what if those 20 people don't come?
What if only 5 came? It's more than one.
Exactly.
So it's 5 is more than one.
It's about, like Grant Cardone says, 10 extra goals.
No, probably that, and doing more like seminar, more information to give to people, being more out there, doing that part of the side instead of trying to do things in the backhand, which like leads and stuff. Probably try to be more out there with the seminars and being more educational, going out to probably food banks and things like that, or other things that I can do to be able to put myself out there too.
So we're doing this in English, but you're going to be doing a lot of those in Spanish also, or how's that going to work?
So I'm going to begin with Spanish ones first. I'll probably start with a couple or up to 4 for a month, and then we'll go from there and think about if I need to do a mix of both. But I want to begin with Spanish first, target that, and then we'll go from there.
Are you going to have like a spot where you do them?
So I'll be trying to look for spaces, you know, here in Fort Morgan, Brush, maybe Sterling, Akron. I might go a little further, but those are the ones that I'm going to begin sort of looking for right now. And then if it's different, well, obviously everybody will know. But for now, I think that'll be the 4 main ones at the moment.
I think also having a good online presence is going to help you out. So we were talking about earlier, like they might not know technology, but they know how to be on Facebook.
That's true.
Like just being there and just being like slowly, like they come, they see you like on their feet or whatever. I think it's going to help out a lot.
Because Joshua tells me stop being a secret agent. So that's a goal too. Like social media is big for everybody. We all know that. Whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, like maybe that could expand a lot. So I think not being so secretive of what I do, I think is going to help too.
Do you believe in what you do?
Of course.
Are you proud of what you do?
Well, yeah.
So I think that those are the 2 things that kind of hold people back, why they don't want to put themselves out there more. Because they're just like, what if people catch on to me that I'm a fraud? I'm not doing it. Like, yeah, like if you believe in what you do, and if you're proud of like your achievements, like, yeah, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And like some people are going to like it, some people aren't, and it's okay.
What they say, keep your enemies closer though.
Choose your enemy's wife. PBD.
PBD.
Great book.
No, but I think that's important though. If someone like listens to this, they want to reach out, or they know someone who might need some help, like where could they go and like find you and get in contact with you?
Well, they can go to my Facebook, which is Melissa Reyez, or they can find me through my email. I go ahead and
Okay. Melissa
at MedicarePeaceOfMind.com, or my phone number, which I'll probably say right now too. 970-939-8256. Leave me a message if you can't get to me, because I do have to remind you that I have a newborn at home, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can, because that's my aspect. I won't let it go for more than a day. But with living with a newborn and the kids, might not answer right away.
Last to finish off, give me if I'm a person that needs insurance, why should I work with you?
You should work with me because why not? First of all, I think...
Sell me the dream.
Sell me the dream.
I think me being the two languages is helping me a lot. English and Spanish. I speak both. If you have somebody that needs both language barriers, I'm here to help. I'm here to help from, like I said, the beginning and the end, during. If there's anything during that we need to get done, I'm going to be here to help you through it. Like, I want to be, like I said, that person that you can go to have freaking café con pan. Like, that person, like, hey, I'm in a car just to chat, Even if we just talk about your dogs, or, hey, how'd you do today, There's people call me like, oh, Melissa, this came in the mail. Did you see that through the news? Things like that. I want to be like their part of their family too. That's what I want. So I think I will be open to be part of your family if you let me.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you for coming on, giving us all this insight. I think everybody should work with professionals, and that's why we like to have professionals on here to actually, so people know the person behind the business, behind the profession. Mm-hmm. And so, like we said, we don't like people getting scammed out there, so to make it more legitimized for them. So remember, guys, send our message if you guys do need help, and remember that an act of rebellion is to question.